Good morning, everyone. It's Dr. Arlene Diamco, the multidimensional MD. My mission is to help bring the intuitive aspects of health back to medicine in practical and tangible ways so that you can access deeper healing and feel more peace, love, joy, and connection in your everyday lives. Today, I'm going to talk about loneliness. I felt the need to talk about this. But before I get started, just one announcement. I have a giveaway from Arlene's Apothecary, and I have some beautiful custom made items, including some rosewater flower essence sprays that I can customize just for you. So, all you have to do is tag someone on one of your favorite posts on Instagram at All Worlds Health or on Facebook at All Worlds Health and Pediatrics. And today is the last day. We've been doing it all month. And so I'm going to add up whoever has tagged the most people, and the top 3 people will win a custom item from Arlene's Apothecary. And I know that you will love it. These items will be worth $55 or more. And I can't wait to share those with you. So go ahead, and if you haven't already, start tagging people because we have some people that are in the lead, but we have a little bit more time left. So today I felt the need to talk about loneliness. This is something that everyone feels at some point in their lives. Some people more often than others. And so if you do feel lonely, sometimes you're not alone in that. I've felt lonely periodically all through my life. And it doesn't necessarily matter if you are around a lot of people or not to feel lonely. It is just your experience of it. If you feel like you can connect with other people or feel seen and heard. There was an epidemic of loneliness before the pandemic that worsened with the pandemic, with that isolation, and then continues now also. So sometimes also the holidays can bring up feelings of loneliness. And so again, even if you're around other people, you can feel lonely. And that's why I wanted to address it today. People of all ages can feel lonely, but when they do studies on it, they find that teens through 20s tend to be more lonely. And then again, later in older years, 66 and above. However, it can happen at any age. I've seen really little kids feel lonely where they're always around people and you wouldn't think so. And of course, in midlife, you can feel lonely, or you can feel lonely as a new mom, a new parent. You can feel lonely even if you go into the office every day and see people. So it doesn't matter exactly where you are, what you're doing. There are situations that will bring it about more than others, but if it is your experience of it. And part of the reason I want to talk about it is because loneliness can affect your health on every level. Per the CDC, loneliness can increase the risk of dementia by 50%, can increase the risk of heart disease and stroke by 30%, about 30% each. And there's, of course, as you know, higher rates of depression and anxiety, as well as an overall greater risk for emergency department visits and hospitalizations for anything. So, and today I'm going to go over what to do when you feel lonely, and I'm going to go through 8 points to consider. So, the first one is to let yourself cry, to let yourself feel. And at first, you may think this is counterproductive because who wants to feel bad? Who wants to feel sad? And who wants to feel lonely? And I did have the recent experience of this where I just felt, it feels like uphill sometimes in some of my work and just paving a new path in medicine or sharing my perspective of how things feel. So, you may not get that from me, but as you might know, there are not many physicians that see things from my perspective. So in my profession, sometimes I can feel lonely. And once I was, recently I was feeling like that, and I did let myself cry, not in a wallowing way. It was giving myself some grace to feel how I feel. So you can do that too. Give yourself some grace to feel how you feel. Somehow, whatever you're feeling needs to be expressed in a healthy, flowing way. So you could write it out, you could scribble it out, you could dance it out. So it is somehow loving yourself enough to let yourself feel how you feel, acknowledging and accepting your state of being as is. That doesn't mean it won't shift. It doesn't mean it's not going to change. With time, everything changes. The point is to grow your love for yourself so much that you can embrace yourself, whatever you're going through, like a big love nest you're creating around yourself. And in that way, you can grow through it. Number 2 is realizing a deeper purpose to how you feel. So, okay, there can be lots of emotions, lots of intense experiences. And then when you're feeling sad and lonely, it doesn't feel good. So, what could possibly be the deeper purpose to that? Well, somehow the universe is trying to crack your heart open. And the thing is, as Rumi says, the wound is the place where the light enters you. Light can enter in other ways, of course, through love and joy, but the wound is another place where the light enters you. And somehow, sometimes the universe feels that this is a way that you can feel and experience more light in yourself. So I'm going to read this poem from Rumi. It says, he's a 13th century Persian poet, beautiful writing. He says, I said, what about my eyes? He said, keep them on the road. I said, what about my passion? He said, keep it burning. I said, what about my heart? He said, tell me what you hold inside. I said, pain and sorrow. He said, stay with it. The wound is the place where the light enters you. So let's delve into this further. Look around and notice what you do have. It's strange that when we're feeling lonely, it's easy to see what isn't there, the lack, instead of what is there. We are working against our own ease. If we look around, there are constants that we see that are always there for us. We have the sun and the sky. We have the earth below. These are great starts, just a grander perspective, expanding your vision. So if you're watching this also, then most likely you have food and water. You have some sort of digital device to connect with me, and then we can feel less lonely. And there's so much that you have. Just look around your room and at what the objects in your room and clothing and other things. So these are more tangible things. And first, it's like expand your perspective and look. Sure, you can look outwards, but you can also, number 4, look inside and notice what you have. You have this amazing body. It may not always feel amazing, but it is your home for this life. So you have to appreciate your home no matter what you've been through, no matter what your body's been through. You have your breath. Sometimes you can feel it more than others, but if you bring your attention there, you can move your breath more and you can appreciate that. You have your heartbeat. And yes, it can ache. Your heart can ache when you feel lonely. But remember again, that's where the light's trying to get to you. And I want to read another poem by Rumi called The Guest House. Just a short poem, but it's so beautiful, beautiful. And it really exemplifies how to grow and feel through being lonely so that you can feel more joy and happiness, so you can tap into this light. So this is called The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. That's a lot. I love to read that poem periodically, especially when you don't know how to deal with your feelings, because then you realize each one is a guest in this human experience and you invite them in. Again, not in a wallowing way, but that you get to experience a rainbow of living through these emotions. Because when you're in pure spirit form, you don't get to feel it so physically. And so you have this movie experience that is multidimensional, and you get to live it out. And no matter if it feels good or bad, it's still amazing because you get to have this experience. It's so tangible. And that's what hurts sometimes is that it feels so tangible. It literally hurts when you feel sad and lonely. Your heart aches, your chest feels heavy. Breathe it in. Acknowledge it, accept it, and it will start to shift. But you can't breathe it in with that goal of shifting. You breathe it in with no goal to welcome it in as is. And in doing so with no goal, that's a paradox. It shifts. So next, look around and notice other beings, people, even those you may not know as well, furry animals, the birds, the squirrels, the plants outside, the trees, the grass, even the weeds that are growing. The earth is buzzing with life. And you are part of that nature and that life. And so knowing that, also expand that perspective again and feel that you're part of it. You can imagine this sphere around you and include that nature around you. And just being in touch with nature can help you. So just putting your hands on the ground, your feet on the ground, your hands on the tree, your back against the tree. Taking a breath when you see a cardinal fly by. These are messages to you from the universe that, hey, we see you, we know you, we understand you. Even if you don't understand yourself, we're here for you. So consider also, do any of those other beings feel lonely too? I see these animal photos of of those unlikely friends. It's a gorilla and a dog that both lost someone, a family, and they're alone. And then they're cuddling each other. And I find that's so amazing. There's so much love that even though they're sad, they're expanding in this love and they can find still more love and connection in their lives. Sometimes through feeling lonely. So look and consider when you see those other beings, does anyone else feel lonely too? Imagine the earth must sometimes feel lonely when she's so trying to take care of herself, and then we keep doing things to hurt her. And can she feel heard? So there's you look around and see, maybe you see a plant, a lone plant in your home or outside on your patio or wherever you are. Maybe you can bring a friend for that plant so you can plant something. So that brings us to, what can you do to help another lonely being? Well, you can send them a message without any expectation of what will happen. Again, there's no goal except for sharing this light within you, this love within you. One kind word can do wonders. So whoever you pass, a kind word, a kind expression, a hello, so that they can feel a connection. And the interesting thing is that when you help someone else feel a connection, then both of you feel less lonely. So again, plant another plant next to the lonely one. The earth will thank you exponentially. Your heart will thank you. Your body will even help you by releasing more oxytocin, which is often called the love hormone. So oxytocin helps to calm, boost your mood, reduce stress and anxiety, reduce the stress hormone cortisol. It can help balance blood pressure. So remember those things that I mentioned that loneliness can affect. Then you can share, connect, say something kind to someone, do something kind for someone, reach out to someone that might be lonely, and that helps to rebalance yourself, rebalance your neurotransmitters, rebalance your hormones, help your health physically, help your mental, emotional health, and help the connection for you and someone else. And the last point is to ask for higher help, because you are never alone in spirit, even though you might feel like it. I'll ask my spirit guides or angels or loved ones that have crossed over, whatever you feel comfortable with, to help me. I'll have conversations with them when I have tears running down my face. I'll have conversations with them when I feel happy. I'll have conversations with them when I'm in the middle of treatment. So anytime, and we reach, especially, if you're feeling alone, then start talking to spirit. It feels like you're making it up at first, but if you go along with it, you can feel a comfort and gain insights you might not have had otherwise. So just even ask why. I'll do this every day. Why do I feel this way? What is the purpose? What do I do? And then you have to be very peaceful and quiet and still. You can still feel peaceful even when you feel difficult things. It's the acceptance of it more than the not trying to feel it. And then slowly you might hear a whisper, or it might sound like your thoughts. It might sound like your thoughts, but quieter than your loud thoughts that usually are running through your mind. Or it might come as a feeling or a knowing. So you'll feel, hear, know a response. Again, you might think you're just making up some kind of loving words, but just go with it. It's only true if it's a message that it's of comfort and support and kind and loving. That's how you know it's coming from spirit, because all higher guidance will be kind and loving. And the more you listen to that guidance, the more it becomes a part of your own thinking and alignment, body, mind, and spirit. So as you practice, it starts to become more habitual. And then you start to naturally have more loving, kind, guiding thoughts for yourself. It's okay if you don't feel that now. Just take a step and start the conversation with spirit, and you will receive higher guidance. You might not recognize it at first, but it will come as a whisper that you'll hear, a feeling that you'll feel, a knowing that you just understand. And it's pure love. And that's how you know it's true. So I hope that helps you in some way. I'm wishing you so much joy and love and peace this holiday season. I think of you all always. And if you'd like to connect with me further, you can on Instagram at All Worlds Health, on Facebook, All Worlds Health and Pediatrics, on my website, allworldshealth.com, all worlds with an S. And you can always sign up for my e-love letters. I send them out once a week on Wednesdays. And I am here on Wednesdays, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So hopefully being here with me today, if you have felt lonely, you feel less lonely. I always love to hear from you, because I believe in you, and I hope that you believe in you too. So leave a comment if this has helped you, like or subscribe if you haven't already. Lots of love to you, and I'll see you next week on another episode of the multidimensional MD. It's Dr. Arlene Diamco. Lots of love and take care. Happy holidays.